I gotta be honest, I was not ready for how messed up that was gonna be. When I'm hearing characters talking about, hey, you gotta pay the 3 gold, if you don't, you get 9 years, or if you run away, there's an extra 10. I'm thinking imprisonment, right? I was questioning what the hell the big jug was. I'm a Dragon Ball newbie, you know this. I've admitted to that every episode I've covered this show. So I don't know if this is a thing that's been revealed before. But for me, that was quite the freaking twist because they were gonna kill that fool. They sucked 9 years of life out of the first guy, and when the old man couldn't pay, he's like, bruh, if you take 9 years, I ain't gonna be alive. And they were gonna do it anyway. Thankfully, Goku decided to beat up a good amount of them, but like, I'm simultaneously impressed by the invention, and it brings up questions like, can you give life back? Because what's the point of draining someone's life and putting it in a big vessel unless you can put the life back in and maybe it's some weird immortality thing? Or maybe it's just because you're messed up and you want people to know that's how many years of life you took for people. But I was not prepared for that, but Jesus, this show is getting more and more fun, and I think is just another classic in the making in the Dragon Ball universe. I have full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see any of my full and thought to this Dragon Ball Daima greatness. It's over there exclusively. So this just makes me feel like a kid on Saturday morning. I may watch it Friday afternoon, but that's the vibe I'm getting. It gives me the impression that if this would have aired when I was a kid, right, alongside all the different shows that I was watching, you know, this would be one of those shows in the way that, like, I'd be like, damn, why does this cartoon feel so different? Because I don't know what anime is back then, right? Like, you know, it's the same reason why Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, like, really gripped me when I was younger, because, like, it just didn't look and feel like the normal cartoons I was watching. It wasn't until later in life that I realized that the whole distinct art shift and everything was because it came from a completely different country. So I feel like Dragon Ball Daima would have done the same thing, because what's great about it is it has just the right amount of action, but clearly the emphasis is put on the adventure. And the Dragon Ball fandom's a pretty hefty fandom. There's a lot of different opinions of what Dragon Ball should look like. I've seen opinions on Daima range from there's not enough action to it's too cutesy to it's too silly. Like, at the end of the day, though, I just assume Dragon Ball can be any type of show, and I think anyone, at least from an outsider looking in, people expecting Super probably would be disappointed because clearly Toriyama was going for something a lot more similar to maybe where Dragon Ball first started. That's the impression based on interviews and opinions I've read. Granted, I'm still a newbie to the world. I'm not trying to act like I'm the know-it-all of how this is going to go, but given dabbling in different Dragon Ball anime over the years or seeing different styles presented, that is how I'm feeling about how this one is being perceived. For me, though, this is awesome. Loving the art style. It definitely feels like something pulled from the 80s, but like with that modern twist. I think the best example I could give is anyone who's ever seen Megalobox, the boxing anime. You watch a show like that, it feels like you're watching something from the 80s, but it has that, it's modernly visually upscaled. It's like taking something from the past and just giving the best remaster remake imaginable. It's kind of how it feels, because the way the colors and the character models and everything just pop in this world, there's not a single space on the screen that you're like, that looks boring or that looks plain. The pinkish sky in the background, the rocky landscapes, the monster designs, and just everything about this is an epic adventure I want to binge 12 episodes in a row. Back when I was in college, I remember I was binging Hunter x Hunter 2011. And I remember there's this one weekend where it was around the time, like, it was the first week of me watching the show. I was up to like episode 30 at that point. And I had so much freaking homework to do, and I binged like 30 episodes of that show that weekend. Was it the smartest thing to do? No, but was it an adventure I just couldn't put down? Yes, and that's kind of how I'm feeling about Dragon Ball Daima right now. First couple episodes, you know, nothing too crazy, but still very fun, you want to see more. 3 and 4, man. Episode 3, I said it last week, felt like a Cowboy Bebop episode with how that bar fight went down. This episode, just to see characters just do such crazy shit. And the best part I think about Goku's staff is how it's not just there for a visual flair, but it actually is incorporated into martial arts. So there's this moment near the very end of the episode where he's fighting a bunch of the guards, right? And constantly the staff is getting longer, shorter, he's doing a bunch of things. He's putting it on the ground, doing spin kicks, like everything about this wasn't just about, because here's the thing. I've seen a lot of Dragon Ball fights over the years, just through clips and stuff, and a lot of times I have looked at it and said, it just kind of looks like flashy attack hit person. This though, this feels like Cowboy Bebop level martial arts. Goku spinning around, there's so much emphasis and detail put into all the little minor details that make Goku, this kid-looking character now, look like he's bouncing around like a goddamn monkey and he's smacking fools left and right. The way these people be flipping and flopping, you swear the Mario Kart banana peels are on the ground and he's just breaking their faces. And he's having the best time of his life doing it. When they're initially traveling and there's this, I don't even know what, the thing it reminds me of the closest is in The Legend of Zelda, there's sometimes like the eyeballs with wings. That's kind of like what it looks like, but it's like the daddy or grandfather of it. Whatever that thing was, though, Glorio ended up smacking that fool around. It looked so cool, and there's so much freedom because the characters can fly, they can be on the ground. There's so many different things, and once you start getting into the deeper and deeper mechanics of the Dragon Ball universe, you can just tell the possibilities are going to be limitless. And I love the idea, too, that, like, because the air is a lot heavier, they're also restricted, so you can't just go the route of, like, oh, they've been through all this other bullshit in their life, why are they struggling? Well, it's kind of an adjustment period, right? We're still in that adjustment period because they are in a completely different atmosphere. They're not kind of used to everything going on. And then you just add in the smaller details, which I really love. So they kind of fly on a Q-tip. Like, that's what it looked like to me. So we hire this couple, right? And I thought we were just going to get catapult. No, it's we ride on a Q-tip, and once we get close enough to our destination, we got to jump off and hope we don't fall into the black mist because we'd die. Such a creative way to detail, like, listen, it would have been so easy to just give them a ship, give them normal means of transportation. We lost our normal vehicle, and what do they do instead? They give us the most rodeo-esque bullshit imaginable and have them fly through the sky and be like, I ain't controlling this, we're just sitting tight until we get close enough. It's freaking fantastic. And the most important thing you should take away from that whole dynamic, as cute as it was, Goku ended up with a pouch full of video game items. You know those bugs in question are gonna come in clutch and they're gonna do some crazy shit. But the most important thing is, while the face may be questionable, the wife of that couple would. Anyone who says otherwise is a damn dirty liar. Now listen, this is good. 3 and 4 have really elevated Dragon Ball Daima into something truly special. And I appreciate the Dragon Ball fans, which seemingly are a majority from what I've seen, saying, listen, people can jump into Dragon Ball wherever. Since most of the fan base jumped into the middle of the story anyway with Dragon Ball Z, people want to jump into Dragon Ball Diamond, have that be their first proper experience into, like, focusing on characters and world, go ahead. I appreciate that. Maybe it's because a lot of the maybe more, because I have heard mixed opinions about Dragon Ball fans, especially when it comes to who wins certain battles. Maybe because they're not really watching Dragon Ball Daima because it doesn't fit the type of tone they like about Dragon Ball. I don't know. But as I've been saying, I've been liking the Dragon Ball fandom for what I've been seeing, but that's just me. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. What did you think of the Soul Sucker 10,000? Because that caught me by surprise. Let me know. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got One Piece, Dragon 0909, Fog Cruiser, Eternal Virtues, Antonio, N.A., Tony Keats, and we also have Ivan Bondare. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you'll have a good one.